Well, David and Angela, if I was to catch a flight right now, it would cost me about $900 to $1,600, and that price keeps on rising each hour. Starting at 6 o'clock this morning, skiers and snowboarders lined up here at Big Sky Resort to be some of the first skiers to be on this ski lift for opening day. Having a fun time? Yeah! Did you guys get enough candy though? No! There is never enough candy. Well, we have to go fill some candy bags right now, so I'm going to send it back to you guys at the desk.
Cassie, tell us more about the report.
That's right. I went into the park to learn more about this report where investigators interviewed 100 former and current employees with the park. Now, they did conclude that there was sexual harassment towards females in the workforce. This new child advocacy center with all the technology and cameras that you can see right now is something Becca Newliger says she wishes she had when she was a victim as a child. If the Black Olive Project is voted through later today at the City Commissioners meeting, that means on this corner of Black and Olive, there'll be a 5-story apartment complex building. The truck drivers I spoke with today tell me they plan on staying here in Livingston until this wind dies down so they can make it to their destination safely. Well, Angela, it's looking fine right now. I'm here in front of I-90, and so far the road conditions aren't bad, but the big story tonight are the high winds and warmer weather. The phones have been ringing off the hook for many Montana towing companies, helping Montanans get out of a sticky situation like this one back here, where this man has been having a hard time just getting out of his driveway. Ice Festival is a long-time tradition here in Bozeman, and many people say it's one of their favorite times of the year. Here at Bozeman's Yellowstone International Airport, where I learned the rights you do and do not have once you jump on a plane. You can see we're finally moving, and it's really exciting. Esmond tells me he's expecting there to be a nominee sometime later tonight, so I'll be here all night to give you guys the latest information on air and on the web. In Helena, I'm Cassie Schirm.
We sent our very own Cassie Schirm to learn what it takes to be a Harlem Globetrotter from one of the best.
From the easily recognizable uniform to the red, white, and blue basketball. When you see the Globetrotters, you know you're in for a good time. Buckets Blakes has been on the team for 15 seasons, but he's loved basketball since he was 5 years old.
I told myself when I was 5 years old that I was going to be a professional athlete, and so I took one of my dad's hats, got my grandmother's scissors, and I cut a hole in the top of his hat, and I shot a tennis ball in there, and that was my first hoop.
His path led him straight to being a Globetrotter, and his baskets keep getting bigger and better.
It's the highest shot ever made in North America. It's 583 feet 8 inches. They always try to leave that 8 inches off, but it's very important when you're that high. It was my second shot, and it was pretty epic.
After showing off his tricks to the kids, I asked him to teach me some tricks that all Globetrotters must know.
Like this in fast motion. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, when you sign up to be a Harlem Globetrotter to play on this team, it's not just about the game of basketball, it's about the game of life. It's a great feeling to know that you're having a positive impact on the kids.
Today, the kids at Mount Alice Elementary enjoyed meeting the pro while talking about bullying prevention.
I've never really met a professional, but I've seen professionals before live, but it was really cool.
Blake's favorite part of the gig is mentoring. He has this advice for every kid.
I always tell kids to be the best you that you could possibly be. It's tough to try and be someone else, and when you figure out what's cool and what's unique about you, you'll reach your goals a lot faster.
If you'd like to see Buckets, Blakes, and the Harlem Globetrotters shoot nothing but net, make sure you go to our website, ABC Fox Montana, for the date, time, and locations. In Bozeman, I'm Cassie Schirm.
Yeah, our Cassie Schirm, she went out to the hives to find out whether Montana could save the bees.
Many Montanan beekeepers and bee enthusiasts are gearing up to help save these bees from a sticky situation.
These losses are unsustainable.
Michelle Flanagan is the co-director of MSU's new Pollinator Health Center.
The focus of my research is to better understand multiple factors that are involved in honeybee colony losses, and those include agrochemical exposure, inadequate floral resources, and pathogens, which is my area of expertise.
Just last year, Flanagan says bee numbers plummeted by 44%, and 7 bee species have been put on the endangered species list, something she says should concern everyone.
So honeybee health impacts everyone's health because honeybees and other bees, wild and native bee species, are important pollinators of many of the food crops that produce the fruits, nuts, and vegetables we enjoy. It's actually estimated that about 1/3 of the U.S. diet requires bee pollinators.
On the surface, a 44% drop in bee numbers is alarming, but longtime Montana bee expert Jerry Bromanchek says they are not what they appear.
The commercial beekeepers' loss was 28%. nationwide, roughly. Montana's reported commercial beekeeping loss, the people who make their living at this, was 12%. The 37,000 hobbyists that responded averaged closer to 40%. And of those, a goodly number had complete loss. If you don't weight that and factor it in, when you throw it all in the same pot, it comes up 40% and the alarms go off.
The key to setting these numbers back on track, Bromashek says, is education.
University of Montana, we teach an online master beekeeping program, and we focus on why you should be doing things, not what you should be doing. So we teach it as a discipline, not as a craft.
Between research, education, and above all, collaboration, Montana is on the forefront of saving the bees.
Together, we've been getting a clearer picture about what are the most important factors affecting honeybee health. And so I think in the future, we will develop strategies to help limit some of these losses.
You don't have to put a beehive in your backyard to help save the bees. You can plant bee-friendly flowers like these right here in your yard to help give them a better habitat. In Bozeman, I'm Cassie Schirm.
Something to think about, that's for sure. Well, another interesting fact, Montana is the second largest producer of honey in the United States. You can go to our webpage, abcfoxmontana.com, for a list of those bee-friendly.
It's sheets of ice like this one here that could cause many homeowners headaches and could be pretty costly.
Crazy expensive.
Stephen Hunter, WOW Site Services co-owner, says this recent weather could cause many problems for roofs.
It's whenever the ice and stuff starts to sit on your roof and it becomes a hazard for the house. You know, we get these nice days like we have today where all the snow that's sitting up there causes that ice to form later in the evening whenever the temperature drops. And we got to come out and take the ice off the roof. Otherwise, the water will back up behind that ice and find its way into the home.
He says it's important to get it professionally done because it's easy to injure yourself.
Some of those injuries come from them breaking an ice system loose and that snow or that ice come crashing down on top of them. And then, of course, if you fall, not all the snow that's going to be on the ground is going to be nice and fluffy. Some of that stuff's going to be nice and hard where you could really hurt yourself.
This big problem is keeping his crews very busy.
We started the week just before Christmas, and we've probably been removing ice almost every day except for maybe one day, a Sunday every week.
Hunter says if you wait too long to have it removed, it could end up worse in the future.
When you have Mother Nature working against you, you have the warm days like today, and then you have the cold drops in the evenings. That in itself can create a big problem.
Unfortunately, Hunter and his service see many house floods and damages that could have been avoided.
It's unfortunate, and you don't always see it. You know, somebody can stand down here and look up at their roof and they see a little bit of ice right there. Well, they can't always see all the valleys, so it's really hard to know all the time what's going on up there and to be diligent about it. And then unfortunately, because of that, you know, a problem can happen and then they say, well, I never even knew, I never even saw it coming.
Many of the crews will be working till February to make sure all that snow and ice is off your roofs. Reporting here in Bozeman, I'm Cassie Schirm. I'm here at the Missouri Headwaters State Park where there will be a first day hike for the first day of 2017, along with others across the United States, hoping to encourage people to get outdoors and enjoy your state parks.
It's a great opportunity to kind of walk off that hangover or get rid of those Christmas cookies that you've been eating, and it's a great way to start the new year. So.
Dave Andrus, park manager for the Missouri Headwaters State Park, says the first day hike helps get people into the parks.
It's a great introduction to your local state parks. We really want to promote the state parks. They belong to everybody, and hopefully once you come and check us out that you'll be coming back many times throughout the years.
Out of 55 Montana state parks, 11 of those will be participating on January 1st.
On New Year's Day, we'll be having a hike here. We'll be starting about 11 in the morning. We'll be kind of filling people in about the park, about the history.
Andrus says the feeling you get while hiking is the reason he believes people should go adventure for 2017.
I always love the term recreation because it comes from recreate. It's almost like when you get out in nature, you have the opportunity to kind of recreate yourself. And I think state parks, you know, provide that opportunity for you to come out and find some solitude possibly, or check some things out, or just, you know, bring your family out and connect with each other and connect with nature. So.
If you'd like to join in on this hike or some of the other hikes going on across the state of Montana, make sure you go to our page, abcfoxmontana.com, for a list of those hikes closest to you. Reporting here from Missouri Headwaters State Park, I'm Cassie Schirm.
Our Cassie Schirm spoke with a Bozeman woman who is battling cancer amid worries of paying her medical bills.
I spoke with Katie Mazurek, a Bozeman resident who has a law practice here in Bozeman, and she tells me she's been watching the political scene very closely because depending on what happens, her life could be on the line.
I didn't do anything wrong, and I got cancer at 33, and it could have taken me right out had it not been for really good screenings and access to medical care. If I didn't have insurance, I probably wouldn't have gone to my primary care.
On February 9th, 2016, Katie Mazurek was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Since then, she has been fighting for her life.
Trying to face how to survive. I mean, really just finding the internal strength to keep fighting, to go through radiation and to suffer wounds and burns and cuts and things on your skin and mutilation of your body. And to be away from my family because I've had to seek care outside of Bozeman.
But now that isn't the only thing she worries about.
The mental and emotional toll of this disease on top of just the thought of like, am I going to lose my house on top of this?
She says even though she's covered through personal insurance, the bills just keep adding up.
Had it not been for the support of our community through a GoFundMe page, I shudder to think where we would be right now. It wouldn't be a good place.
Katie says under President Trump's proposed American Health Care Act, she would be impacted. Although the measure was halted today, she worries if something was passed in the future, could she as a cancer patient still get coverage?
We have scheduled as much of my care as soon as possible, even to the point of asking physicians if they would bump up their standard timelines to see that we can get everything we can done in a calendar year because we just don't know what the future holds.
Katie says she wants to fight this for her 2 daughters, and that's why she's been following the movement of the health care bill very carefully, and says if it wasn't for insurance, she doesn't know if she would be here today to tell her story.
That would have absolutely been an impediment to my receiving timely care, and I had aggressive cancer. I'm not sure that I would still be here in a year.
Katie tells me she couldn't be more grateful for such a loving and supporting community. In Bozeman, I'm Cassie Schirm.
Our Cassie Schirm takes us to Belgrade to introduce the now famous Kevin the Cone.
A Bozeman cone was found in a blizzard here in Belgrade last week, and the Belgrade Police Department rescued it, decorated it, and even named it Kevin. Now Kevin has become a part of the community here in Belgrade and even a star on Facebook.
Was just kind of the first cone sounding name that we could come up with, and I mean, he looks like a Kevin.
Officer Justin Sparks with Belgrade Police says they picked him up and named him.
We figured we'd have a little fun with Bozeman Police on our Facebook page.
From meeting local firefighters to joining officers on patrol and even acting as city manager for a day, Kevin's online chronicles are gaining national attention.
Didn't even cross my mind that we'd be looking at this many comments and shares and comments from across the country. Reach is 64,000 and some. It's pretty impressive for a small community like Belgrade.
The Bozeman Police Department is even playing along.
We're concerned about Kevin, who goes by Casey by his family, and we want to get him back in Bozeman. You always have to have a little bit of humor in the world of policing. And if an orange cone lightens the mood a little bit, it doesn't mean we're not out there doing the job that needs to be done.
In order to return to home in Bozeman, Kevin the Cone is asking for acts of kindness on Facebook.
With the Christmas spirit and everything, we encourage people to do nice things for other people.
If you can give a random act of kindness, we need your help today to get Casey back with his family where he belongs.
If you want to help Kevin the Cone make it back to the Bozeman Police Department, make sure you share your act of kindness on Facebook using the hashtag Kevin the Cone Kindness. Reporting here in Belgrade, I'm Cassie Schirm.
Now, according to the International Association of Firefighters, about 20% suffer from PTSD. Our Cassie Schirm learns how Bozeman's fire chief aims to keep grief from his department.
I spoke with Chief Mike Maltaberni, who tells me it's times like this that take a toll on firefighters when they win a firefight but lose a life. In moments like these, when lives are on the line, firefighters say they want the public to know they see things you usually don't.
From being on scenes where someone has died or we're seeing something that a normal person probably shouldn't see or they don't want to see it. And there's a compounding effect when you just see that over and over again on these jobs. You have to find a way to deal with it.
But when we take a closer look at Bozeman, deadly house fires are statistically less common than many other cities. Chief Maltaverni says firefighters see more fatal accidents than fatal fires. In fact, in the last 6 years, there have only been 5 deaths from fires in the city of Bozeman.
Statistically, our numbers are lower than the national average per capita, so we're proud of that. We do think that some of that success is because of our prevention efforts here.
Still, emotions set in for his crew: disappointment, guilt, and judgment.
And the challenge there is for us to, while we're on the scene, to suppress our own emotions, do the job that we're called there to do, and then we basically then have to process our own emotions, our own feelings at a later time.
After a traumatizing call such as Monday's fire, the chief looks for signs of grief in his team.
Just a difference in the behavior. You know, usually if it's just a fire, things are pretty upbeat, and we take care of the incident, we get back to the fire station and ready for the next call. An incident like that normal process doesn't happen. We come back to the fire station, things are quiet, it's just not the same feeling.
Now, Chief Maltaverni tells me after this incident, he's going to have someone brought in to open a conversation to talk about this fatal incident. Reporting here in Bozeman, I'm Cassie Schirm.
Our Cassie Schirm is in Bozeman with a look at the fun for a good cause.
Superheroes, fishermen, lifeguards, and many Montans took the plunge in this pond right behind me here to help raise money for a good cause. It's the Special Olympics 16th presidential plunge that has Montanans jumping into 35-degree water to raise money and awareness for the group.
This is our 16th year. It's definitely one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. Polar plunges, all the money raised, 60% stays right here in the local area, with 40% going back to help support the state organization. So it's really a grassroots fundraiser.
Special Olympics Montana provides training and competitions year-round in Olympic-style sports for children and adults with intellectual disabilities. About 150 local people compete in Special Olympics, and about 125 go to the annual state games.
It's just a great cause to support our athletes, to show, people like Becky in the community that you support them and that you want them to succeed. So it's just a really great way to fundraise and do that.
Skylar Stiles, last year's Athlete of the Year for the Special Olympics, has been doing the plunge for 11 years. He says he loves cheering everyone on.
Raise money for Special Olympics. Anything, see all the plungers jump in, cheer on the honored people in a lot.
Skylar's mother says every year she couldn't be more proud.
Every year I just beam and tears stream down my face to watch him raise money for it, get excited to do it, and never back down. Even if he's not really feeling very well, he does it. It is a tremendous honor, and we're quite humbled to watch him do it every year.
She says she couldn't be more thankful for all the donations and Bozeman residents who showed up.
It is an amazing feeling as parents to watch your kid succeed at what they do, and to see their smiles when they cross the finish line and finish, and they always feel good about what they've done.
Skylar tells me he plans on taking this plunge for many years to come. Reporting here in Bozeman, I'm Cassie Schirm.
An in-depth look, our Cassie Schirm brings us the story of a survivor of childhood abuse who wishes a facility like this new center existed years ago. Here's Cassie in Bozeman with the story.
This new child advocacy center with all the technology and cameras that you can see right now is something Becca Nuliger says she wishes she had when she was a victim as a child.
It means the world to me, because what I went through, nobody should have to go through. Nobody should have to have those memories and those moments readily available for 5 years of their life.
MSU senior Becca Nuliger dealt with sexual abuse starting at age 3.
I cannot count how many times I had to relive the worst years of my life.
She says this new center lets kids come and tell their story once.
But to be able to come here, say it once, get it off your shoulders, and go start to live your life as a kid and heal with your family, that is goals in life, and I think that this is single-handedly one of the most amazing movements to happen.
Becca isn't alone. The CAC says this happens to 1 out of 3 girls and 1 out of 4 boys before the age of 18. Dan Malin, detective with the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, says he deals with these crimes on a daily basis.
I get 3 to 5 cases a week. This week alone, I've taken 3 cases, and so yesterday we scheduled an appointment for a little girl to come in and talk about an experience that happened to her. And to see them leave with a smile on their face is really rewarding. It's very gratifying, and it touches you. It does, because you know that you've done your job, that you provided a service to that child, to that family, that's going to make a difference. It's going to make them move on towards the healing process of what's happened.
Newelger says it's centers like these who help kids through a nightmare.
You know, when kids talk about the monsters in their closets and under their beds or even in the next room, they are very, very much real. And it is so important that we listen to them. And that's what we do here. We listen to the stories of the monsters that impact the lives of these kids and their families. And then we put those monsters away.